Why don't I see myself? Why am I not live? Hello? Can anybody hear me? Why don't I see myself? There I am. Okay, so now, let's see. I am live. Can I hear myself? I wonder. Hello, 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 hello. Is anybody home? Can I hear? Is anybody home? I don't know if I can hear myself. If anybody's listening, please tell me if you can hear me. What's this over here? Okay. Oh, now I can hear myself. Okay. So let me turn this off. And what we're doing is basically doing a loop of, again, sailing from the summer, and want to see how wonderful that was. I'm just going to tilt this camera just a little bit so I can see myself. There we are. Okay. Very good. So now, I don't know what, I don't know what I'm doing here. That's running. And there, I'm going to go to chat, see myself there. And I'm going to see if I can see myself here. And see if I can make Mr. Nightbot work. Hey, Cruising. Thanks for dropping by. So to some extent, this is a test. I'm trying to figure out whether Nightbot works. If you were to type the command, what was my command? If you were to type the command show link, it should let you see who you are. I'm going to actually try it myself. If I can get in here, sign into chat. So that one can't chat. I guess I should sign in. Hey, Squirrels Magnet. Yeah, this is a bit of a repeat from the summer. And I'm trying to figure out whether my good friend Nightbot works. But I've lost myself. So I don't need that anymore. Minimize that. We don't want that. Don't want that. Now let's see if we can get Nightbot to work. I'm going to log in over here. What name am I using? I'm using and what's my password? Oh, it was a mystery. There we are. So now, does Mr. Nightbot? Let's see if Mr. Nightbot is happy here. Hey, Fishing with Domingo. Thanks for coming to my stream, which is basically a repeat from this summer and last summer. But I'm trying to see if my good friend Nightbot works. So I'm going to type in show link. And it's going to tell me who I am. Oh, okay. So So Nightbot is happy, at least as far as people being able to show their links so they can share it with other people, and the command is show link. So I'm going to see if I can change the title. Sail is reliving the summer on the water. Let's see if that updates. Let's go back. And let's go back. And go back again. And there I am. Okay, so that worked. Yeah, screw up. I appreciate that. Cooking with the Munchie Mafia. Thank you for dropping by. We're not cooking on the water today, although I did bring up a little lunch that we had somewhere a while ago. And lunches when you've got visitors are sometimes a little bit of a challenge. What do you feed people that doesn't take a lot of time to to make and organize, and to take time away from your guests, because they really want the attention, right? That's what they're looking for. So now, oh, okay, we fixed the spelling mistakes. And what it's interesting, that big smokestack is an old coal-fired power plant that is in a pretty industrial, rundown area. But the thing about it is that the marina that I'm in is right there, and because it is pretty industrial, it's also a little bit isolated, so don't get huge amounts of traffic, and makes it easy to get in and out and go pick up stuff for the boat, and get in and out. And what's interesting is that over the winter, two people had dropped boats just at the side of the road leading to that power plant. One was like a 20-foot little motorboat, and one was a 25-foot little sailboat that I guess somebody didn't want anymore, hadn't figured out how to dispose of it, so they ended up just abandoning it at the side of the road. And I looked at them. They're not the kind of thing you'd want. Excuse me. But still, it's amazing what people just dump at the side of the road. And then, of course, the waste disposal people in the city got involved in it, and they're trying to figure out who owns the boats, and the boats don't have license plates. Well, I guess they have license numbers, but if they're scraped off, then you've got to go by the hull number, and there is no central registry of hull numbers. Hey, Queen Alicia, thanks for dropping by. Thanks for dropping by. Love to see you here. What am I doing here? Oh, I'm going backwards. Yes, going backwards. Backwards in a boat is a little bit like backing up a trailer, because things don't always go in the direction you want to, and you're relying on the water flowing over the rudder to keep things moving. Excuse me for a second. Pardon me, back again. So backing up is a bit of a trick. And the boat, of course, has no brakes, right? So when you are backing up, then you need to the whole boat, a boat turns around its center of effort, which is really the center of the keel, and the rudder is off to the stern and the off to the back, and the propeller is pushing water against the rudder to make it turn left or right. And once in a while, you'll find that you're moving backwards faster than you want, and you change gears, but then you end up with the boat still moving because the big rush of water doesn't really come off the prop quickly. This boat has a 20 horsepower motor, so that's a very small motor in terms of you know, people are out with 16-foot runabouts with 80 horses on the back, and you get that thing up on a plane. This boat isn't it's built for comfort, not for speed. It's it took a while to figure out how to back it up, and even the dock I'm in now, I've been there for 3 years, and still once in a while misjudging the way the wind is pushing on the boat, and the speed with which it'll turn, and the speed with which you can then change directions. So, larger boats will have thrusters. That's really a propeller that's mounted across the boat, either on a hole in the hull, so there's like a tunnel in the bow, and cruisers will have a stern thruster that's just bolted onto the outside. So what it does is it moves the boat from side to side, still turning around the center of the keel, but it provides more control. Now, this boat's a 32-foot boat, and I don't know of any 32-foot boats that I've ever seen that have thrusters, because it's overkill. Plus, they take a lot of battery power to run, so it's like an electric motor, right? Electric trolling motor, and they need huge wires to get there. So that's something that we're not going to do. People have sold from time to time a thing you bolt on that hangs off the front, sort of like a trolling motor, and with remote controls to steer left and steer right, and that might work. And a trolling motor stuck on the stern, again with remote control steering, might be a way of making the boat more controllable. Other people just say learn how to sail, and then the problem goes away. But that's easier said than done. And I've been doing this for a few years, and I still learn something every day. It's a wonderful thing. So we seem to be okay. Lazel, how are ya? Thanks for coming by. Thanks for coming by. It's really wonderful to see you here. Um, we're just sort of reliving last summer and the summer before. Um, Again, thinking about what the weather's going to be like today. Was a little bit cold. They 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 have forecast snow. Now, I don't think we're going to get snow because it's almost midnight. It hasn't happened yet. Um, and I'm waiting for it to get warm enough to paint the bottom and do a little bit of outside work on the boat. So the painting, it needs about 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which is really not all that warm. It's we're not painting fine furniture, so we're not totally worrying about the quality of the surface. As long as it sticks, then we're happy because the objective is to stop algae and seaweed from growing on the hull and making a mess when it comes out. And the theory is it slows the boat down. Now, I'm not racing, so speed is all relative, and speed is really relative. The top speed of this boat is probably 8 miles an hour. I don't think, yeah, it's gone that a couple of times with a good wind. So let's say, hey, Lucy Warrens, with a good wind, let's say 15 knots, and on a broad reach. So that's when the wind is sort of coming over the side at just such an angle that the sails, the wind is pushing on the sails, while at the same time the wind flowing over the sails pulls the sail forward in the same way that an airplane stays in the air by the air flowing over the curvature of the wing. So there's a very small angle that sailors refer to as a broad reach that allows that fine angle that goes fast. But on a good speed, it'll do 4 or 5 miles an hour. The motor, again, it's a 20 horsepower, two-cylinder diesel. And in my opinion, that's small, but that's what Hunter put into these boats when they built them. Running at 3,000 RPM, so that's not very fast, but for diesel, that's pretty fast. That boat will go 3 miles an hour. Is that fast? No. If you're a fast walker, you can walk faster than that. If you're cycling, you can cycle faster than that. But sailing is not an activity that being in a hurry is not really part of what sailing is all about. Sitting in the sun and getting some fresh air is really what it's all about, and having company, and in this case having tomato sandwiches. So I guess it was ham and tomato sandwiches that we had that day. It's watching somebody else's live or somebody else's video talking about life jackets. So here I'm not wearing a life jacket. The objective of being in a boat is not to be in the water. If we wanted to swim, we wouldn't have bothered with a boat. But things go wrong, and hey, cruising, and things go wrong, and once in a while, a life jacket is there to prevent you from drowning. Now, so what can go wrong? Well, a big catastrophe is somebody runs into somebody, and that happens very suddenly. And if a boat the boat is fiberglass, so if it's hit by another boat, and there's a big crack in the hull, then it will sink. If you run onto the rocks, that will poke a hole in the boat, and you'll sink. And there's a recent case here in Toronto of a guy that unfortunately two people died when he ran his boat into rocks, and that in just southeast of Toronto, and it was a 30-foot motorboat, and again, a motorboat will move a lot faster than one of these boats. So he managed to run out into the rocks, and it put a hole in the boat fast enough that it filled with water, and people died. Now, the other thing with the motorboat, so the motorboat's moving 30, 40 miles an hour. If it's got enough power, when it hits those rocks, it's like a car hitting a wall at 40 miles an hour. People get thrown around, people hit their head on things. And then having a life jacket on at that point, of course, will keep you floating. You don't have time to go looking for life jackets. You have time trying to remember where those life jackets are. and the video I was watching was about there's an inflatable life jacket. So if you're when you're on an airplane, there's a life jacket under your seat that they tell you about every time you're going over water, and they're supposed to inflate themselves from from an air source in the plane, or they have a little tube that you're supposed to put in your mouth and blow on the thing, and it blows it up like a balloon, and that'll keep you afloat. So the thing that I think there is, if you're in a crisis, are you going to remember how to find the tube, blow into this thing, so that that your life jacket inflates? Some of the inflatable life jackets have a CO2 canister and a mechanism that when it gets wet, it punctures the canister, and the canister then fills the body of the life jacket with gas and blows it up. So that's automatic. But to me, that's scary. The life jackets that I have on board, and we keep them out within arm's reach at all times, are regular personal flotation devices, PFDs, that are foam rubber, foam plastic, that look like a life vest, and they don't require any action or reaction or effort to keep you from drowning if you end up going in or falling in. I guess falling in is another way that things can go wrong, because on a sailboat there is work to be done at the front of the boat. So to hoist the sail, I have to go to the front of the boat, get out of the cockpit, out of that safe, secure little cocoon, and go pull on the ropes and make sure the ropes aren't jammed. And so the fear there is that if there's a wave that bucks the boat in a strange way, or the wind blows the boat in a strange way, or you're just careless and stub your toe on something, that's likely to provide an opportunity for falling in. So if I'm not in that cockpit, put on a regular life jacket, go forward, makes me feel comfortable. Um, in the summer, yeah, they get a little bit warm, um, but the fabric is good. We keep them clean and dry. Like some people just throw them under in the corner of the boat, and they get mildewy and gross looking, and I really don't want to put that on. But yeah, life jackets are good. So if you're cruising, I have never been on a cruise boat, but I understand they have lifeboat drills, right? Everybody gets on a lifeboat, and life jacket drills, so that everybody knows at least where the life jackets are. Um, Yet again, you hear of ferries that tip over in various places for various reasons, and the life jackets are usually overhead in there. Everybody can see them, but people still don't have the opportunity to grab them, especially for kids. Now, kids in Canada and in most of the states, kids need to wear life jackets as soon as they're on the boat, on the water. And that's good, because if I think I'm not going to react, if I've stubbed my toe and I'm going over the side, um, imagine a kid that doesn't expect that they're going to get dumped into the water as well. The one of the things I want to buy this year is a floater coat. So there's a company, Mustang is the brand that I'm aware of, that makes a life jacket that is actually a coat, like a jacket, and it has a flotation material in the front and in the back, and long sleeves, and it becomes a winter jacket that doubles as a life jacket. So, cold days in October, possibly when we launch in at the end of April, um, it's cold out. So, yeah, a regular life jacket over top of a ski jacket works pretty well there as well. Just gonna watch this for a minute and have a sip of water. The rescue boat. That's kind of it's a volunteer organization. They run a couple of boats in a couple of locations, and they listen to the hailing channel on the radio for people in trouble calling for help. They're coordinated by the Coast Guard, and there's some government funding for the boats that they use, and they provide a level of security for when things go wrong. Now, some of the things go wrong, people run out of gas, right? But people have run onto rocks, and people have run onto sandbars, and people do strange things. So it's nice that somebody thinks it's a worthwhile volunteer activity to um, keep us from getting into too much trouble. The the American harbors are better served by emergency services than I think we are. Um, you have Sea Tow and Boat US that operate subscription-based rescue services, and basically they provide they're a tow truck on the water, and they provide fuel and a tow, and sometimes all that you're looking for is advice. Um, but engines conk out, and people forget to buy gas, and people buy fuel or gas, diesel with water in it that doesn't bode well, and you end up with engines that don't start or engines that don't run, and they provide a service that's quite worthwhile. So there's fewer of them in Toronto. There's one group that may or may not still be operational in the Toronto area. We'll see in the summer if they're still out. Um, so it's always something to worry about. The only time ever that I've run into a problem was with this boat. Just the first year that we had it, it overheated. The water pump, the cooling, the way that these engines are cooled is they suck the water out out of the lake, out of the inside, um, through a strainer. It's supposed to be a strainer, and then the water is pumped through a heat exchanger in the case of this boat, and the heat exchanger is filled with antifreeze, and that runs through the engine itself to cool it off. Now the strainer is supposed to keep garbage out of the pump, but what had happened here, and I have no way of knowing how old how long it was since this problem occurred. If the boat's 20 years old, does that mean that it didn't have a problem for 20 years and it won't have another problem again in another 20 years? But what happened is we're sailing along, engine running because it was the end of the day, and heading back, and suddenly the weird whining noise, squealing noise. Hey, Outfish. Yeah, I've watched some of your lives. You're out somewhere in Hamilton, I think, is from what I could determine. Thanks for dropping by. The So what happened is the, the water pump is a rotary water pump, and it works by an impeller that is driven from by a fan belt, and the impeller is made out of rubber. Um, and over time, I guess the rubber gets hard, or crud gets into the pump that makes it through the strainer, and then these little edges of the impeller, it sort of looks like a starfish, uh, break off, and after they're all broken off, the pump doesn't do anything anymore. I'm not sure where those little pieces that broke off went. Never did find them, but we did manage to limp home, probably half an hour. Um, and then we're tied up next to same identical boat. And this guy Sal had the same problem. So he had 3 or 4 spares, and he kindly lent me one. Took the water pump apart, which is only 4 screws, and replaced the impeller. I don't remember whether we changed the gasket or not. We're not talking about a lot of pressure here. Um, and it's been good for the last 5 years. We do have spares now, and still, I don't really want to be in the middle of the lake taking your boat apart, but it's worth doing. That's one of the things we'll do. We'll make a video of it. Is we'll open up the pump and see how it has survived over the last 5 years, and then put it back together again. It, it's scary when things like that happen, and there's an alarm on the control panel that goes off when the engine overheats, and so you're hearing this alarm wailing away, and you're wondering what's going wrong and why is this happening. And it's only later that I discovered there's a button to turn the alarm off. So once you know what the issue is, that you could then at least go forward in peace, because you already know you've got a problem. The boat I had before this uh, was a 10 horse, so one cylinder 10 horse diesel engine, and it didn't have a heat exchanger. It just the raw water, the lake water, was just pumped through the cylinder walls and then back out the other side. So the the indirect cooling apparently is more efficient, and a little bit less risky if things freeze in the winter, because the cylinder jacket itself has hey, sexy cooking, haven't seen you or thought about you in a long time. I'm going to come look at your stuff again. It's been a few months. Thanks for coming by. The the antifreeze adds a bit of security in a world where things freeze in the winter. Now it's regular automobile antifreeze. It does evaporate a little bit, and I checked it in the fall, and I think we're going to suck it all out with a pump and replace it with new clean antifreeze, and it's got an overflow tank as well. So that will need to get dealt with. Pardon me. And then the other thing, as soon as it gets warm enough, we'll probably do it on land, is we'll drain the oil and change the oil. So last year the engine ran, if it ran for 10 hours, that's probably maybe 20 hours. So we're not talking about a lot of oil wear and tear, and we're not talking about a lot of heat either when it is running. So one would think you could get away with changing the oil every 10 years. Um, I have to check to see what Yanmar recommends. I'm sure that they say once a month, but they also sell these motors for industrial use where they're connected to water pumps and generators. And I think there even one version is used in a farm tractor in Japan. Um, so changing the oil will be a job. The problem with the boat not being in the water is you can't really run the engine for more than a few minutes because you need cooling water. So if the engine is cold, then the oil doesn't flow and drain properly. So that might actually wait till the boat's in the water so we can run the engine for half an hour and let it heat up properly and make sure that the oil drains well and flush it out um, and then refill it and it'll be good for another 4 or 5 years. The transmission oil, look at it every year, makes no difference. Nothing happens. Again, we're not talking about a lot of speed in the transmission that it's going to wear the oil. It the transmission they recommend just regular engine oil as opposed to specialized transitional fluids. So it's a bit hard to get at. Yeah, sexy cooking. This view. This is where the boat lives, and some of the places that we sailed in the last year or two, and sort of just reliving the summer, getting ready to get out there. It will be it's going in on the 28th, so it's not even 4 weeks anymore. But I do not want snow. Um, Long range forecast, it's probably going to be 50, 60 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a bit on the cool side. Um, Nothing to look forward to. But it, it will go in. It goes in with a travel lift. I think they've got a video of it coming out. So it's a big crane that has a belts or slings that go under the boat and lift it up and move it around and then lower it into the water and then you're on your way. So it's a very elegant um, solution. It, um, it's a good way to launch boats. Some places launch boats with cranes that lift up the whole boat. Um, there's a lot of places that launch power boats with lift trucks, with forklifts, and they'll pick them out of a rack and lower them into the water. Um, TikTok is full of pictures of the lift trucks falling into the water on top of the boats, but I'm sure that doesn't happen often enough. It's a one time only thing that gets TikTok people excited. We'll see what the summer brings in terms of how quickly we can get organized. I'm just thinking of something else. I'm working on photography for Adobe for their AI database where basically they hire photographers or pay photographers for their pictures so that they don't have copyright issues. And one of their projects is outside stuff. And if the weather's nice enough, tomorrow I'm going to go down and take a few boat parts and put them on the dock and add those to the Adobe AI submission so that when somebody asks Adobe AI for a life preserver, there's the possibility that it'll be my life preserver that'll be included in that. I guess one other thing I did, I'm just looking at myself. So the boat has two gears, forward and reverse, and that throttle that is working there right now. That throttle is got one cable that basically steps on the gas, opens the amount of fuel being delivered to the engine, and another cable that goes to the transmission to switch from forward, neutral, and reverse. And it stuck one day, once last summer. So I'm worried again that you're in the middle of the lake and suddenly you've got a transmission problem. It won't shift in or out of gear, whichever. Both are bad. Not shifting out of gear is bad if you're heading into the dock. Not shifting into gears if you want to get back into the marina. So we're going to go down and trace where these cables go and run some WD-40 through them so that they're properly lubricated and that they don't seize up. They're sort of protected, but the boat's in the weather in most of its life, so moisture gets into things, and moisture and steel corrodes. I want to make sure that it doesn't corrode, and I want to make sure that the pieces that pull on those cables, the detents that are connected to those levers, get in there and oil them a little bit so that they don't rust together or stick together or cause other kinds of grief. And getting at that is a little bit hard because you can't reach in from the back to grab the screws when you're releasing them. And now you need to figure out how to undo the screws, not lose them inside. And that will let you reach in and put some lubricant in there, some grease in there to keep it all flowing smoothly. It's getting late here. I'm just looking at some of the scenery here, and so that's that boat, that yellow ship cabin, is the entrance to the marina that we're in. I guess they put that there so that you sort of feel like you're in an industrial shipping environment when it's purely pleasure craft, but it looks very industrial. It looks big and massive, and it says nautical, it says maritime. It says boats, and I think that's what they're trying to say there. This is one of the things you're going to have to do as well. Those tables, try to take them off and clean them better so that there's a table that's under the food that you're seeing there, that's held up with a little bracket that keeps it from falling down, and I want to make sure that it doesn't collapse if somebody leans on it too hard when they're trying to get up off of the seat or whatever. People that are fishing people will recognize the seat that's behind me. It's a swivel seat designed for a small runabout for fishing. And I wanted something to sit on that was a bit more comfortable than just a cushion. And there's nothing to lean back on in the center there. There's the steel rail on each side, but in the middle is just a cable that keeps you from falling over. And this seat provides a backrest and a bit of a comfortable cushion to sit on, and it adds a couple of inches of height to the seat, the Helsman throne. That makes it more reachable. The it's designed for boats. It's out in the open all the time. The worst that happens is that once in a while the seagull or a swallow will sit on it, and then it needs to be cleaned up. But it's meant for outdoors, and it works amazingly well. I actually saw it on the boat that I was moored next to, where they had done the same thing, but they had taken the swivel that comes with that, or is that made for those sails, and actually bolted the swivel onto the fiberglass, and then arranged a way to quick release it. So if they took the seat off, they ended up with this ugly metal swivel sitting there that had sharp edges, and I didn't really like that. So on this boat, it's held down with a tie-down strap, a cargo tie-down strap that has a ratchet to tighten it down, and it sits there pretty well. It's strong enough, secure enough to keep me from going over backwards. So that's our new. It works. It works. That's not going to get changed. I do need to find a place to mount this gas barbecue that I bought, and that's going to be a challenge because the stern rail, every inch of the stern rail has some other value or some other use. So putting a barbecue there will then block something else. It'll either block the ability to get in and out of the swim platform, or it'll block the ability to sit in the jump seats, or it'll block the ability for the traveler outhauls to function smoothly. So I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. Other people have mounted those. Hey, hello, Kitty. Thanks for coming by my live. Yeah, thanks for coming by. Nice to see you. Some people have mounted their barbecues on their swim platforms with a swivel. To me, that's too hard to get at. I'm thinking of a cruiser with a big swim platform that has lots of room. We don't have that much room. The swim platform is 3 feet by 3 feet, so yeah, that was a lunch. That was simple. There was no cooking involved. It was just a tomato and ham sandwich. But it was a nice day. So all we wanted was something very simple, and something that was fast to make and fast to serve and didn't make a lot of mess. Because the problem on a boat is everything that you bring on has to eventually be taken off. And if you're out in the middle of the ocean, you can throw an extra sandwich over the side and some shark will eat it. But in a crowded marina, you don't really want to see other people's sandwiches floating around. We have carp, but the carp are not that hungry. Right now, I'm at home. This is reliving the summer. We're in Toronto, in Canada. So this is reliving the summer, and it's cold. It's quite almost freezing, not quite. They said it was supposed to snow, but the snow, I haven't seen any yet. and I think we're going to miss it. So that tomorrow should be a nice day, and we'll get out to the boat and start opening it up and see where water got in, if any. Yes, we're in Toronto, which is on Lake Ontario. It, look at how blue the sky is. Some days are so bluey, so blue and wonderful, and then some days the sky is sort of a gray color and so boring. And I hate taking pictures or video on one of those gray days that when you look back at it, it's depressing more than than a joyful kind of scene. So it we'll hopefully get more blue sky days this year than we get rainy days. Um, I, some people say we've got more storms than usual. I don't think that's really been the case. I think we've always had nice weeks of long, hot, sunny days, and then yeah, this. Hello, Kitty. This is Lake Ontario. It's really the Toronto Harbor. If you know Toronto at all, this is close to the Leslie Spit, so it's the east end of downtown. Um, in terms of miles, it's maybe 3 miles to the heart of the banking district, as in a straight line, maybe 4. Um, so yeah, we're right downtown. We're close to downtown. I had another loop last live where I was featuring some of the marinas that are right downtown. There's four marinas, right, 3 marinas right downtown. Toronto was once upon a time a big industrial shipping city, and a very active port with ocean-going vessels and American vessels, um, cruise ships from Europe at that time, were the immigrant ships, and so that's really all that industry has left the city. Now we're getting a small cruise ship every second week. So over the summer, we'd get 10 cruise ships, European, South American, um, into the Caribbean. There is a cruise dock. It's a little bit away from downtown, in an industrial area as well. It um, it but it's available, so it gives the cruise ships a place to dock and and do their thing, and people that want to come into downtown for a visit, because they're all tourists and cruise ships, of course, are all going to come in on buses. Um, but it's close by. I think one of my videos shows some of the cruise ships that are tied up there, that are bringing people to the city. And every visitor is important. So if we can make them welcome, then they'll want to come back. And Toronto, it's a good place to visit. There's some good museums and some good sites. Um, there's some good restaurants, not that close to the waterfront, but good, but nice enough. And there's a bit of a nightlife that will keep people of all ages entertained to some extent. This marina I'm in, there is nothing. The only fine dining that we have in the marina is is a Coke machine, a drink machine, and a chocolate bar machine. So we're not. It's not a place that it's not a place to eat. If you want to eat, you got to cook your own food on your own boat. Watch my videos and see if any of those things make you hungry enough. The and it's part of the reason I started the sharing some of the boat cooking tips from my own experience and from things that I'd like to do, because a boat is like a house, right? It's like an RV. You can it can be totally self-contained, and you still need to get your food and bring it there. But if you're living on the boat, you don't want to eat out of cans every day. You want to have a bit of a semblance of life. The Uber Eats, I'm not sure that they can find that marina. It's a bit out of the way, possibly further than they'll want to drive in any case. So you're sort of on your own. But I enjoy it. I love being out in the fresh air. I love being out in the water. I love hearing hearing the waves. Here's what happened to my wave sounds. I thought we had wave sounds in the back of this. There's some wave sounds there. I'm happiest when I can see the water. Always have been. Always lived in a city with water. I've had a boat for more years than I care to think of. We started small. The first boat was a laser. A laser is like 3 meters, single sail. You sit on top of it, not in it. You get wet, and that got me hooked. And I bumped into a guy that sails a Wayfarer. So a Wayfarer is a small 16-foot wooden boat. I never had a Wayfarer, but I had a plastic Wayfarer, and that was a nice boat. It fit on a small trailer. It was easy to get around, go from one place to the other, and yeah, omelets. I like omelets because you can do so many things with an omelet. You can add vegetables. You can add fish. You can add shrimp. You can add sausage. You can add so many different things. The only problem with omelets and boats is that eggs need a fridge. You need enough room in the fridge to store your eggs. I know I was looking for a place that sold freeze-dried eggs that are sold to people that are camping, and I do want to try that. I found a place. It's a long drive from where I live, but we'll try freeze-dried eggs and see how they work. Let's see what happens. So we're getting close to an hour. I'm going to wrap up. It's 11:30 here, and I do want to be awake in the morning to check the weather and run out to the boat. And but it's only a 10-minute drive, so it's not a big deal from that point of view. To see if the weather's good enough that we can start opening it up and airing it out, and remember where we left everything. I was thinking of where I left the radio yesterday, and I don't really remember where I left my handheld radio. So it's one of the things I tracked down. So thank you everybody for coming. I really do appreciate your support, and I promise I'll support you. Hello Kitty, Lucy Warren, Sexy Cooking, Cruising is Fun, Outfish. Outfish does some really good lives of fishing. And follow up on where he's going fishing there. Lazo Willie, Squirrels Magnet, Alicia Ali, Cooking with the Munchies. Thank you all for coming. Nightbot seems to work. Nightbot seems to work. I just need to have a way to tell people what to type to drop their link. Okay, so that's a good point there. How do you know what to type? Okay, thank you very much. Good night, all. Good night, all. We'll do this again in a couple of days, and I promise I'll come and visit you guys. Thank you very much. Let's see if we can figure out how to turn this off. Where is the